Hi everybody. I'm logged into logged into my student account CS44772001, and there I'm on the left hand side. You can see that I have 14 tables in 4477201, and I also have a read access to CSCI4477. So if I just choose the CSCI4477, then I can look at a whole bunch of tables that we have in there. Here we have that invoice 4477 September 2010 and none. Now that's the table that is rather large, so I would rather that you did not create that in your own accounts. The reason I have given you the SQL.zip file is so that if you wanted to have MySQL on your own account, on your own setup on your laptop with your own MySQL installation, you can put it there. Okay, so let's just have a look at this. What do we have in here? Let me just actually let's just browse it directly instead of looking at the structure. So I'm just going to make this particular window a little small and going to bring it over here so you can see all the data that we have. Now, some of you may have noticed that we have price and cost to be equal to 0 in this particular case. Let me just sort it using the invoice number, and then now the price and cost would have some meaningful values in there. Okay, so let's just have a quick introduction to that. Invoice number means actually every time you go to this particular store and you buy something, then you have a receipt which may have 3 or 4 products, and that's what this invoice number means. So if you look at invoice number 3, that's repeated 3 times. So it's not unique because you're buying various different items from this, right? Say, for example, let's just focus on 3 over here. So we have the date has to be the same, customer number has to be the same, product ID is different, and what was paid was $26, what it cost store was $15. That sounds like a lot of profit margin, but really it's not that bad. It's not that high because it doesn't include the cost of maintaining a store, hiring employees, and so on. So then again for the same one, for same invoice we have a different item, and for the same invoice we have one more item in there, right? So as you can see, there is a particular visit or a particular invoice number would have multiple items, and that will give us an idea of how many different widgets we have. So rest of the things are fairly self-explanatory. Quantity, price means how much customer paid, cost means how much the store paid the vendor, and as I mentioned, it doesn't include the other costs that you may have. So I'm going to now go to SQL, and let's say if I wanted to find out how many widgets I had, and if I just did something like this, I can just get, by the way, things from here by just clicking on that invoice number, and there we go. And I'm just going to go with this particular query. That really is not going to work because it's giving us invoice numbers, like the count invoice number is exactly same as number of products, which is 901,344. That's not right. We want to use a special keyword here. So let me just go back to my SQL. I'm going to just copy this one from here. I can edit it, but it will take me to a different screen, and then you will not be able to see it. So I'm going to go back to SQL, copy this particular query, and modify that. Okay. I did not copy it properly. So let me just go back and one more time, and then I'm just going to actually, I might be able to just use it directly from here. So the word distinct is going to give me distinct number of visits. So I'm just going to go, and now you can see that there were 287,465 visits to this particular store. So I'm going to go now and create a table, that will hopefully allow us to do a little bit of clustering using R. So this would be the first half of that. That would be getting uh, retrieving data from a table, from our data set. So let me just go and start this query again. SQL. We want to have, so there are three things we want in here. Customer number. So I'm going to put it in there. Select customer number, then comma. Then I want to have invoice number, but I want to have count of those. So I'm going to just put the word count, and then I'm going to say distinct space and close that one. And I want one more thing, which is sum of the price. So that means the amount of money that the customer spent. So I'm going to bring that price in there. And now this is not going to look very good, so I'm going to give them some names as visits and some price as spending. Okay, from this particular table invoice 4477. Another thing I want to do is restrict myself to only those customers whose customer ID is greater than whose customer number is greater than 10,000, because there is a special customer number that is used, which is 0. That means we don't really know who the customer is, and there might be some other random customer numbers that we don't know what they are. So the anonymous customer IDs that we created are greater than 100,000. So 10,000 is okay. So let's have a look at this particular query. I want to select customer number, distinct invoice numbers, count of those, and I'm going to call them visits, and summation of all the prices. So that sounds good. And then I want to group this by customer number, right? Okay. So that's the query that we want to have. And what I want to do is I want to save this as a table. So I can just say create table. But remember, I am in CSCI4477, so I should say, and I don't have right access to that, so I should say put it in my database where I have right access. And I'm going to call this particular table visit and spending. Okay. And the word ads. So so this sounds like a reasonable query, and I'm going to just say go, and hopefully that was successful. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my database, which is CSCI 4477201, and hopefully I have this particular table called widget spending. So I'm just going to browse that. It's showing that there are 25,373 records, so that's how many customers I have, and then I have information about those customers, that is how many times they came and how much money they spent. I can just click on one of these columns and it will sort it for me. Now these negative things, who knows what they mean. So let's just go with the positive ones, and then we have this customer who spent 47,632. That's the highest spending customer, and so on. So I think that is a good place to stop. So what we have done is we have explored the data a little bit, and we have created a table that we might be able to bring into R and massage it. Actually, why don't I just do that right now? Let me just export that. And I'm going to say export it as a CSV table. I want commas and fields enclosed by double quotes. I don't think I need that. So let's go with just the simple things. And I'm going to say go. Okay, it will ask me where I want to spend that. save that. So I'm just going to put it in, let's say, my Dropbox. Let me see here, teaching CSCI4477 in the notes, and let me just save that. Okay. So hopefully I have this particular table. In the next video we will bring it into R and see how see what we have in there. Okay, so let me terminate this particular broadcast.